All right, so I guess we are doing Hyrox Vegas in February. Okay, so I just wanted to jump on here for a few minutes and kind of freestyle as I'm approaching this, and I think this will be cool for my channel and just for kind of general, just content ideas and whatnot of what I'm going to be doing training wise, how I'm going to be getting ready for this, etc., etc. So this one's going to go into a little bit about how I'm kind of conceptualizing or theorizing some of my training, what I'm going to be doing. And I know Hyrox is getting super duper popular, so I think this will be helpful for a lot of you out there and whatnot. So without kind of further ado, let's kind of get into it. All right. So I don't want this video to be 35 minutes. So I'm going to kind of explain my process and what I'm doing starting yesterday to kind of prep for this Hyrox. And the good news with this is there is a good amount of time. So I can have a little bit of a season here. I can start and have a few weeks or months in the off season, then we'll prep to it. So as of right now, what I'm doing starting yesterday is slowly building up specific kind of tolerance and capacity for some tissues that for me individually, so this is going to be different for all of you out there, has given me issues, or I think that can run into, or that I can run into issues with these specific tissues. So let me kind of explain. I know I'm jumping around here. So for me specifically, I have had some issues with my left heel. This started when I did my half marathon prep last year. It started with let's just kind of broadly call it some sort of plantar fasciitis, Achilles issues, and then it's changed and morphed a little bit, but it still gives me issues, unfortunately. So this is the main thing that I'm kind of worried, concerned about, etc., etc. Because here's the biggest thing. If you're prepping for any type of fitness event, the biggest thing you want to avoid at all costs is injuries, because that is going to fuck up your progress more than anything itself. So if you are new to the Hyrox world and have not done a bunch of running, heavy sled pushing, etc., etc., it's going to be different depending on your specific kind of limitations and constraints. Spend a few weeks, a few months, depending on where you're at, to build up the tolerance before you go full bore right into it. So I want to run through a full thing of it to test myself, because that will help me highlight what needs work, what doesn't need work, blah, 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 blah. But before I do that and full send this workout, I need to build some more tolerance, specifically for me, because it is that heel Achilles, to the heavy sled pushes. That's going to be the biggest one. And then also to the burpee broad jumps. I'm good with jumps, but most of my jumps right now in my training has been more of the intensive side. So higher intensity, lower volume. Where burpee broad jumps, you're doing a shit ton of these, okay? So again, everything is pretty specific when we're talking about tolerance to specific tissues, passive structures, stuff like that. So that is going to be my main concern. So starting yesterday, I finished with just I'd probably say it was about half the sled weight of what I'm going to have to do, what I'm required to do for the race. So I'm going to spend these next probably 2-3 weeks building up my tolerance to the sled pushes. So in 3 weeks from today, somewhere in that vicinity, I can go full bore to get starting numbers of where I'm at with this without being scared, nervous of really messing something up. So again, building up tolerance and capacity, mainly heel, Achilles, that area for the next 2 or 3 weeks. Then I'm going to get some baseline numbers. So again, we're Wednesday, August 21st. Somewhere probably mid-September-ish, I'm going to try to run through the whole entire thing and see where I'm at. Then from there, I will use that data, those data points, starting data points numbers, to determine how I want to program this. And this is what's going to be kind of fun for me as a coach, because I can not only kind of see and feel and then interpret this data how I want, but then it'll be cool because I have a good understanding of, just because you gassed out on a specific exercise, that doesn't necessarily mean it's that specific exercise that needs work. There are so many pieces to this equation when it comes to Hyrox, because it's station run, station run, station run. I think I'll have a good understanding of, is it that station that needs work? Is it burpee broad jumps, for example? Or am I getting gassed on the running? Or am I getting gassed on the lunges? Or am I getting gassed on the wall balls at the end? Or something like that, okay? Because there's so many different pieces, it might not just be that individual thing. And then from there, I'm going to kind of mess around with my programming. Again, I have enough time to where I can work on these specific individual movements to build some more absolute strength. And I'll kind of explain that and break it down. You need to kind of figure out where your ceiling is. So for example, this is just a random example. Let's take the 100 wall balls you have to do at the end. Let's say I gas out at 30 or 40 wall balls. What is the more efficient pathway to this? And what is the most efficient strategy for this if I wanted to get my wall balls up? And let's just say specifically wall balls. Let's take everything else out of it just to make it simple. Some coaches, people will say, just do wall balls. And every single session, 50, 100, 150, 300 wall balls. Okay, that might be a route. Whereas another coach might be like, let's build your 1, 3, 5, 10 rep max barbell thruster. So full clean squat to overhead press. Who's wrong and right? Well, they're both wrong, they're both right. And I think this is dependent on the individual. So these are also numbers that I'm going to test. I'm going to have some different baseline numbers to see. So for example, if right now my 1 rep max barbell thruster is 135, I think I can raise that ceiling of potential by getting that up to 185. Okay, these are just arbitrary numbers, but there you have to see. Whereas another individual, if they're already barbell thrusting 225, 250, 275, they probably just need to work on the specific component of doing a shit ton of reps and just building that engine. But how I want to break this down is in the beginning, I'm still going to work at the specific skill component of what we're going to do during the race, but I'm going to try to increase my ceiling of potential. So that would be more of a lower rep range, again, of really getting strong, because in my opinion, again, let's just say I can do a walking barbell lunge with 135 pounds for 10 reps each side. If I can build that up to 185 for 10 reps each side, I think that will give me more potential going into the race when I have to do the sandbag at 66 pounds or whatever. But again, this is what's fun about the coaching aspect of things. Everyone has a different strategy. And I have a kind of enough time to kind of play around with this to see which one is going to give me the best return on my investment. All right, so I'm going to leave it at that. I can talk about this for forever. If any of you or anyone new to Hyrox or not new to Hyrox has questions, comments about this, if you have any, if you want to give me any advice, I'm all ears. I'm brand new to this, okay? But right now, I'm going to be spending some time, again, building some tolerance and capacity to those tissues that give me issues, mainly my left kind of heel, Achilles, slowly building up those heavy sled pushes. 3 weeks from now, I'm going to try to get some baseline numbers by running through either half of the full Hyrox race simulation. And I would like to throw that up on YouTube as well so you guys can see. And then I want to do kind of a follow along of the programming and how I'm doing that and different metrics and KPIs that I'm using and trying to progress with the end goal of doing the best I possibly can when it comes race day. All right, like, comment, subscribe. Thank you very much. Have a great rest of your day, and I'll see you soon.